Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
It is Coffee Ann here on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us on Thursday morning. It's June 29th. My name is Joe Callahan, and across the table from me at the Coffee Ann table, Bob Lauder. Good morning to you there, Bob.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Nice to have you here with us. Emily Hayden-Sheen from the Call is here. Hi,
Good
Em.
morning.
And we're also being joined by the Finance Director from the City of Woonsocket, Cindy Johnston, is with us.
Good morning.
And good morning to you there, Cindy. And we're doing things a little differently. Usually someone from the city comes in around 8:30. It goes to 9. This time we're going to go 8 to 8:30 with Cindy here. So before we get to questions for her, Em, it's time for our first message from the Call newspaper.
Yes, exciting news, everyone. Today started the Community Choice Awards nomination round. So you can vote once a day starting today.
Can I nominate me?
You can nominate yourself. You can nominate yourself. That is
Aren't you going to
all
feel
power
sad
to
if there's
you.
only one vote for you?
Well, then I will feel sad. So, Bob, you're on the case. You need to nominate me, okay? So there's at least two.
Yeah, so-
nomination doesn't mean voting.
No.
No, you got to be nominated to go to the next round, which is the voting round. So, starting today, you can vote once on either of our websites, which is woonsocketcall.com, and then it's /community. And then also the pawtuckettimes.com/community. And you can vote once a day, starting today through July 23rd, which is a Sunday. And then we will be announcing who was nominated, the top 5, and then the voting round starts in August. So get on board, nominate your favorite restaurant, favorite pet groomer,
Your favorite lawyer.
But definitely, get on our websites and put those nominations in. And everybody, good luck.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be seeing our promotions in the newspaper starting today, and it's very exciting. We're all excited. This is always a great time of year for the Woonsocket Call and the Pawtucket Times. So again, starting today, you can only vote once. But you can vote once a day for the next month.
All right, very good there, Em. And our first note's been called in at 766-1240, and it goes to the Call. Caller's glad that the Call has the police log again.
Yes, we brought it back.
Great.
We did, and we also brought back property transactions, and we have our new real estate section in both the Pawtucket Times and the Woonsocket Call, and it is the Blackstone Valley Places. So, we're trying to bring more local news and more information to the public and trying to, bring back the oldie but goodies.
All right, very good. All right, Cindy Johnston, Finance Director for the City of Woonsocket. Make sure you guys come up with good questions for Cindy now, okay? The first question I do have, and I believe we had the story, could have been in last week, maybe the week before, but do I have this right? Does the City of Woonsocket have a surplus?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. For FY22, the audit is complete, and we do have a surplus.
Of how much?
The city
Roughly?
is about 300,000 and some change, and the school department was roughly 170,000.
Excellent.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what
Great.
do you do with the surplus now that you have it?
It just
Rolls over to
goes
next year?
into the fund balance.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it'll always be there unless we need it.
Mhm.
FY23, which the books will close on June 30th, we're projecting about the same.
Another surplus?
Yes.
Wow. That's working out nice.
Yeah, we've worked really hard to keep our expenses down.
Is it also a case of more people paying their taxes on time, I would say?
Our collection rate was very good this year.
Okay,
So
good.
that helps. But a lot of it is just controlling expenses. This administration is very good at finding other resources to pay for projects.
A lot of grants. And
A
things
lot
like
of grants.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always helpful. Anything that we can pay without having to use the general fund, which is the taxpayer dollars, we look for.
Yeah. All right. Fantastic.
What's the most difficult part of your job?
Honestly, constant interruptions.
I love it. Is that by in person or the phone
No,
or
in
emails?
person.
Okay.
I have an open door policy.
Oh, you have
It's
to.
just something that I believe in. So my office has 2 doors and both doors are open, and sometimes I want to give out those little tickets that you get at the deli because there's
serving, number
2
25.
lines.
Wait in line.
She also stares at me because I talked with her twice this week on 2 different cases. Gave me great
There you
advice
go.
right away, but yeah, it must be a big interruption.
So is it the staff interruptions or people like Bob coming off the street?
It's usually my staff,
Is it?
but
Okay.
I appreciate the fact that they come and ask instead of just do and not be sure. We have a lot of new staff, especially in finance, which I'd like to talk about the staffing report if we want to do that now.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I just wanted to bring up the monthly staffing report because there's been some misleading information out in the press and the social media, especially where there was a chart that was comparing our vacancy from the month of May to the month of January. And if you actually looked at that report, it looks like we doubled our vacancy, but there's more to the story than just the number. Our biggest problem, of course, is police and fire. You can't appoint until you know that you have a spot in the academy to put the appointment. And the police academy only happens twice a year. Well, guess what? Once you start coming up till the month of June and the month of December, where you haven't been able to hire anyone for 6 months because you have to wait for the academy, well, you're going to have a higher vacancy than the month after. So, of course, in the month of May, we had, 7 vacancies in the police department versus 3 in the month of January. It's because we have 5 police officers we're ready to put on payroll in July when the academy starts. The same process happens in the fire department. Their academies are run a little bit more often, but right before the new academy is when you're going to have your biggest vacancy. So the raw numbers comparing the 26 to the 13 for vacancies.
They look inflated.
Yeah, it doesn't tell you the whole picture. You have to actually look into the departments. And police and fire have the highest vacancy, and that's why. You can't appoint someone until they're ready to go in the academy. And you can't put them in the academy unless you have the seats. Only so many seats are allocated per community because most of all the communities use the state municipal police academy for their training.
How many does Woonsocket get? Do you know?
It varies every academy session. I believe this one coming up in July, they had 4 or 5 seats.
Okay. Do they switch? I don't know if you know this. This is a good question for Tom Oates. But if Woonsocket is allowed 5 seats, let's say, we're only sending 3 though this time. Can they give their 2 to another community?
The state will decide who gets the other 2.
They do. Okay. All right.
So what you do is you put in how many you'd like,
yeah.
and then the state
Will decide.
will distribute. And of course, if someone doesn't need all their seats, they'll look and see who else requested more seats than what they got.
Yeah.
And they'll base it that way.
Must be tough for the community to say, well, we need 5, and the state comes back, well, you only have 3, and
So
now
right
you have
there-
to decide which 2 don't go.
Well, not only that, now you have right there. You already you're forced with a deficit of 2
Yeah.
for the next 6 months because unless you do a lateral hire from another community,
Right.
which is an issue that all the police departments are having. The supply of trained police officers is much smaller than the demand, and they're being shuffled around.
All right. Cindy, speaking of the police department, do they have to come to you when, let's say, one of their cruisers gets into a wreck, and let's say it's totaled? Okay, we need another police car. Does that fall upon you to see if there's enough money to go get another police car?
Well, the first thing that happens is they'll report that to the personnel director, which is part of finance, and we'll run it through the insurance company. So it's actually the insurance company that, after our deductible, will pay for the cost of the replacement.
All right.
And then we follow our normal procurement procedures, which is, doing a requisition, getting the purchase order approved, doing a financial impact statement. I have rules.
Rules are good.
Yeah. All right.
Rules are very good.
There was an
Go ahead, Bob.
there was an article in today's journal. I'm sorry. About a expanded law that has passed, which increases the disability benefits that could be paid to certain municipal employees, police and fire, for injuries that have suffered on the job. Are those disability payments paid by the city, or does the state do it, or how does that get calculated in?
Well, way back when, we did have our own private pension plan for police and fire, which is now closed, which means that there's no active firefighters or police officers that are part of that pension plan. So everyone that was part of the private city pension plan has been retired. And then everyone else, and I don't remember the date that it turned over, everyone else is part of the state plan. So if they are allowed to change their normal pension to a disability pension, it depends what plan they were from, and that's who will pick up the extra cost.
Now, does the city have to pay into those plans and make contributions?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Yes.
And
for both of them.
Is it a percentage amount that we have to pay?
For the state plan, the state provides us the percentages of wages for that year, and it does change every year.
Now, when they provide us a percentage, is it statewide percentages, or is our percentage different from Burrillville? And
Yeah. I don't know how they come up with the amounts, but every single community has a different percentage they pay.
Wow. Okay.
That's interesting.
And ours is actually quite high. The police pension, the city portion is in 30-something%.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So, when we're in negotiations and, like for the police union, they got some substantial raises last November or December. No, it had to be November because the mayor was not in office. And, that was a big factor. They got a very high pay raise, but then you had to tack on the 30-something% you have to pay for pension. And the significant pay raise, that changed their holiday pay, that increased their holiday pay.
Overtime.
That overtime was a big one. Longevity, it ended up costing us quite a bit of money.
Now, the school teachers, through their union, have agreed to pay into the federal Social Security system. That's not necessarily true in all communities with school teachers. But do our police and our fire also pay into Social Security, or is
Just the Medicare.
just the Medicare part?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's got all this in her head.
Amazing.
Isn't
Yes.
this amazing? And
Well, listen, my nickname in elementary school was Walking Encyclopedia.
really?
Ah, nice.
Now, is that for all subjects? Were you good in science and history and geography?
Science.
And before you get down.
do we ask Joe what his nickname is? No, we don't. We don't go there. No.
No, you don't want to know.
Trouble.
It was not trouble. Oh, and by the way, Mrs. Blaze called me.
Oh, really?
Called the station afterwards. She said she did remember me.
Yes.
This is my sixth grade teacher. And she said she wished me well, okay? And I was not the little hellion you both think I am. I was,
Did she
okay?
remember you fondly?
See, I didn't talk to her. I would have liked to. She just said, she talked to Denise. She said, yes, she does remember me and wished me well.
Isn't wishing you well the same thing that they say when they're releasing
they don't
the
remember you.
prisoners from the ACI?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Wow, yeah.
We're making him blush.
Anyway, we're going to take a break here on the Coffee and program, but more with Cindy Johnston, the finance director from the city of Woonsocket, coming up. But M, time for a second message from the Call newspaper.
Yes, so July 27th, we will be having our next health and wellness section in both of our newspapers. It is a great way to showcase anything health and wellness, whether it's yoga, whether it's a walking club, whatever, healthy food habits, physical therapy, anything to do with health and wellness. It could be a boutique that specializes in things for health and wellness, or it could be a dance class. So if you are interested in participating in the health and wellness section in the Woonsocket Call of the Pawtucket Times, you can give me a call at the office, and my number is 401-767-8500.
All right, Em, thanks. More of Coffee Hands coming up. Comments and questions can be called in at 766-1240.
For an Allstate agent, providing protection options that fit your life is something they take, well, personally. Allstate agents are committed to learning about your needs and helping customize protection to meet them. From bundling your home and auto insurance with ease to evaluating optional coverage, your Allstate agent can help build an insurance proposal that fits your life. And just as important as learning what you need is learning what you don't. Because helping you get coverage you want with savings you deserve is what Allstate is all about. It's time to get coverage that's catered to you. Are you in good hands? Call Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, two locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. One telephone number, 765-5000. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
Have you heard of Scott McGee with RE/MAX Properties? He's been selling real estate in Rhode Island and Massachusetts for the last 17 years, and you can see that he loves what he does. Scott, as well as his team, take pride in what they call the fair and honest team. No gimmicks. And no, they're not buying your house if it doesn't sell, etc. Just fair and honest real estate. Scott personally works with tons of sellers and buyers and specializes in residential properties as well as commercial. And he's always very fair and offers super competitive rates. Remember, this is probably the biggest move in dollars that you will ever spend or receive. You want to go with a trusted and experienced agent. Scott is fair, honest, and modest, always puts the clients first. And he also dealt with literally almost any situation. You really need to look at your real estate needs as a business. You want to pay and get the right money now so that you're not paying for it later. Trust me. So why not give Scott McGee a call at 401-639-2906. That's 401-639-2906.
Em, let's get that phone number again, Em, for Scott McGee.
Sure, it's 401-639-2906.
One more time?
401-639-2906.
All right, very good. We have a note that was called in, 766-1240. This has got nothing to do with money or the city of Woonsocket city, so hang on for just a minute. Just says to the panel, do you remember the movie with Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward, The Long Hot Summer? Bob, you must remember that movie.
I do.
Nope. There's the headline.
1950s,
Well,
I believe,
yeah.
but I don't remember the
So
movie.
they're just saying, I'm afraid that's what the Red Sox are looking at. A long, hot summer. Mired there in last place. So
Yeah.
quite
And
possibly.
it didn't help that, the evil empire last night.
Got a perfect game.
Yep.
I was going to ask Bob about that.
Yeah, that's like the 24th ever.
Oh, very good, Bob. I get a bell for that one.
Yeah, you do get a
24th
bell for
in,
that
in
one.
Major League history for
Yeah.
Good, nicely done, Bob.
Yeah.
All right.
Empire, though. I like that phrase too.
Which one?
The evil empire.
The Evil
Yeah,
Empire? Well,
yeah.
that's old. All right. Cindy Johnson, Finance Director for the City of Woonsocket. Are there other staffing vacancies besides police and fire that are larger than others in other departments?
There's a lot of rotation in my department, which again leads to, it looking like there's a lot of vacancies. I'm a big promoter of promotions, especially if they're well deserved. So I've been doing a lot of internal promotions, and to fill a vacancy, it takes a long time. They're union jobs, so we have rules and we have procedures, and it starts with the request to fill. It comes to me to make sure we have the money. It goes to the other departments. They approve it. Then it finally gets advertised.
And then you wait.
There's a required advertising period.
Yeah.
Then union jobs you have to test for, so then we have to set a testing date. Then there's a review period to look at the test, and then finally we have to wait for the personnel board to meet to certify the list, and then you're finally allowed to interview,
Wow.
and then make your selection. So it looks like there's constant vacancies in my department, but it's because I'm doing promotions.
Yeah.
So I promote someone, I've got to start all over again. And we keep doing that process. Eventually I'll be done. They'll all be filled. They'll all be trained. And life will be good.
Now, typically, how long is that process from, you promoting within, there's a vacancy, to that new person filling that position?
Yeah, it could take up to 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah. We really have tried to streamline the process. Like for one of them, one of the steps is the director needs to review all applications and assign experience and education points. Well, if the director doesn't have time to do that, that waits. It takes time.
Sounds like an ongoing project. By the time 3 months go by, it might be time to do it again for another position.
Yep.
We just do it again.
Yeah,
Start
and
over.
we've had in my department, I've had 2 recent retirees. So that's why those positions are vacant.
All right. Tell us about the newest tax bills. And when are they coming out? And are they going to be
so
on time
we've
this
gotten
year?
a lot of questions, a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails. The data for the tax bills is ready. Has been sent. The file's been sent to the printers. The printers have a process. So it just got sent to the printers. The printers need to send proofs of the bills to the tax assessor to make sure it's correct. Then we need to send those samples to, and this is the toughest step, is sending those to our bank's lockbox to make sure that they can be read. So
Okay.
once that gets approved, then we can finally actually start printing the bills. Right now, the date that the printers say they're going to go in the mail, which I know will change, so don't hold me to it. They're supposed to go in the mail on the 11th. But
Past experience tells you what.
yes, no guarantee.
Yeah.
So if they go in the mail on the 11th, the due date will be July 28th.
Okay.
If they end up going in the mail later, we will push back the due date. One good thing to know is once they start printing, that file will roll over to collection. So if you go online, even though you don't have your bill in the mail yet, you haven't received it, it will be available for viewing online.
So you could pay it when you just go look for it online.
Yeah, if you know it's online,
Yeah.
you want to pay with credit or debit card, you can do it right at home. If you want to come in and pay with a check or cash, you know what the amount is, you know what your account number is, you can come in and do it even though you don't have the physical bill in your hand.
I see. All right.
One of the good things about Woonsocket billing is they operate on a fiscal year instead of a calendar year. And so we're always up to date in our payments. Towns like North Smithfield, where they operate on a calendar year, are always 6 months behind in their payments.
Yeah.
And when you're selling property, you have to explain this to the buyers as to what's going on.
And they have to wait?
No. They just the seller usually has to make up the difference because he thinks he's paid in full
And he's
for
not.
the quarters that he's paid, but
Yeah.
he's still 6 months behind.
All right.
Woonsocket is great that way.
Okay.
Oh, we're doing something good.
Yes.
And it's always smart to roll in your taxes in your mortgage payment.
That's
That's-
the easiest.
That is the easiest thing.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I've done with any of the homes that I've ever owned. It's rolling,
And you don't
rolling,
have to worry about
and you
it.
don't have to worry about it.
That's funny when you bring that up, because when I first bought my house, within 2 or 3 months, I got a call from the town. Not sure it was the finance director, but it was someone in finance, and they said, "You haven't paid your taxes." I said, "But the mortgage company's supposed to pay that for me." "Yes, well, they haven't done it." So I made a 3-way phone call. I said, "Okay, town, are you there?" "Yes." "Mortgage company, are you there?" "Yes." "Okay, mortgage company, town says they haven't paid. What do you say?" "We paid it." And so those two went back and forth. I said, "I'm just going to listen. You two go." And "You haven't paid." "Yes, we have." "You haven't paid." "Yes, we have." This went on for 10 minutes. Mortgage company was right. They had paid it, and the town, "Oh, here it is." They did find it. So I said, "We're all set, and no one has to do anything. No one's going to do anything. Everything's great." "Okay, thanks, bye." A lot of fun.
But that's actually happened to me as well.
Yeah?
And I will say the finance department in Woonsocket has been awesome. It happened twice.
Ooh.
Yeah, it happened twice. But it was the mortgage company. It wasn't
Hadn't paid it?
Hadn't paid it.
Wow.
But the kindness, because as we know, not every person in, state, government, town are very friendly.
Yeah.
It happens. I've lived in other towns before, and the
Cindy's very friendly, though.
no,
am.
I can honestly say I've never had a bad experience.
Oh, great.
Whether going into the tax assessor's office, calling, everyone is very nice, understanding, because sometimes you can get nice but not understanding.
Yeah.
But they're both.
Oh, good. I'm
So-
glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, then you're hiring the right people, Cindy.
Yes.
Thank
is,
you.
Is what it comes down to.
I think so.
Do you get a lot of, when the whole process is going through, when you look for new people, are you getting a lot of applications? Or is it still, are you like other businesses and, we just can't get anybody to apply?
These past couple of interviews, I actually have gotten some really good candidates.
Oh, good.
Earlier in the year, the answer would have been no.
Mm-hmm.
Not many, most of them not qualified. It was a struggle, but I have found that I looked at probably four lists yesterday, and I had really good candidates.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and I'm really happy with my recent hires.
They're working out for you, huh?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. Anything else going on in the finance department that we should be aware of before we have to say goodbye today? Everything good?
Well, the tax sale.
Okay.
So every year we do a tax sale. It's unpleasant, but it needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to look at it is you're not doing anyone any favors by ignoring the fact that they're behind.
So this
Whether
is the
it's-
selling of properties to people that haven't paid?
It's not the selling of properties,
No?
it's the selling of taxes.
Okay.
Which, if someone wins the bid at auction, which the auction will be August 25th, if someone wins the bid, they then get the tax lien on the property, which is recorded in city clerks.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of misconception with that because we've gotten a lot of phone calls of people who had gotten tax sale notices. You're taking my house. no one's taking your house. We're selling the taxes that you didn't pay. And this year we're doing the sewer bills. Sewer bills are not, we don't bring them up to tax sale every year. We haven't done it in probably, well, I can tell you it's got to be 6 years. And I'm going to say 6 years because guess what? A lot of the people who got tax notices for unpaid sewer bills haven't paid them in 6 years.
There you go.
So that tells me it was the last time we did a tax sale of sewer bills because they haven't been paid in 6 years. And that's when I go back to where you're not doing them any favors because, you know, you don't get their attention until they get that notice. And every year they fall behind, they're never going to catch up. We're very open to doing payment plans, and a lot of the homeowners that I have worked with, we put them on a payment plan that they can afford, and they're grateful, you know, that because they knew they were behind.
Well, yeah.
You know,
they never not
and
know.
that, you know, they're grateful that we're working with them, that they're going to get back on track. And we'll go back to the tax sale itself. So they've gotten their 90-day notice. They're going to get their 40-day notice very shortly. So that's all required per state law. So the 40-day notice before the tax sale. We currently have a list that we have 2 attorneys doing title searches for, and that's the process.
All right. Well, Cindy, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
Nice
I
having
always
you here.
enjoy my time here.
That's great. And good information about that. And just be on the lookout for the tax bills. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
11th.
Out on July 11th. So be on the lookout for them.
If they come in late, call Joe.
Yeah, please do. That'll be great. I got the answers for that. All right, time for a look at the forecast being brought to you by Positive Coaching Alliance.
The National Weather Service has issued an air quality alert for hazardous concentrations of smoke in the air till midnight tonight. Mostly sunny skies today with a high near 81. Tonight, partly cloudy, overnight low of 63. Friday's weather, mostly sunny with a high near 83. Saturday, partly sunny, high near 83. Sunday, a 50% chance of showers, mostly cloudy and 78. Monday, a 40% chance of a shower or a thunderstorm, mostly cloudy and 83. Tuesday, the 4th of July, mostly cloudy skies with a high of 81. And on Wednesday, partly sunny with a high of 82.
All right, it is currently outside the Navigate Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street. Cloudy skies and 70 degrees. Questions about youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit organization, develops better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. Information at positivecoach.org.
Say when you need a new vacuum cleaner, don't make the big box stores your first stop. Visit the experts at Marion's Sew & Vac in Bellingham. Marion's has in stock the upright Sebo brand vacuum cleaners. They're incredibly durable, lasting an average of 20 to 25 years. Sebo vacuum cleaners have hospital-grade filtration installed on each machine. This filtration removes more than 99% of all airborne particles. Marion's Sew & Vac can service your vacuum cleaner and sewing machine too. The experts on vacuum cleaners and sewing machines are at Marion's Sew & Vac on Pulaski Boulevard in Bellingham.
At the turn of this century, 27% of people who passed away were cremated. By the year 2020, that figure rose to 56%. The Cremation Association of America projects that by the year 2040, 4 out of 5 Americans will choose cremation over a casket burial. Berarducci Funeral Home and Cremation Care Center of Woonsocket can answer your questions about the cremation process. Go online to providencecremation.com. Berarducci Funeral Home and Cremation Care Center on Spring Street, Woonsocket. Let them create the perfect service for your loved one. Berarducci Funeral Home and Cremation Care Center.
Lou Mandeville here to tell you the only place to get your local high school and college scores, as well as the Pats, Bruins, Celtics, and Sox is on My Morning Sports Reports. And they are right here on ON 1240, Monday through Friday on the Morning Fun Show.
It is Coffee Ann here on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here, along with Emily Haney Sheen and Bob Lauder. Bob, time for a first message from your law office, please.
Good morning. Thank you. This is Bob Lauder. I'd like to talk to you this morning about two recent cases involving divorce proceedings which were decided by the Rhode Island Supreme Court. The first case is entitled Capalli versus Capalli, and it was decided last Wednesday. The parties were married in 1975, and sometime after the marriage, the husband began working for the Rhode Island Department of Corrections. In 1992, 17 years after the marriage, the wife instituted divorce litigation. When the action was instituted, neither party filed an affidavit of assets and liabilities with the court, and neither party engaged in any discovery of the assets and entitlements of the other. The court granted a nominal divorce to the parties in 1992. In 2017, 25 years after the entry of the final decree of divorce, the wife learned that the husband had a pension with the Department of Corrections. She filed a petition to reopen the divorce litigation, claiming that the husband had failed to reveal to her the pension which he was entitled to receive at the time of the divorce, and that he concealed it from her. The trial judge in the family court agreed with the wife and awarded her more than $80,000 in past due pension benefits. The husband appealed. He claimed that he never concealed the existence of the pension and that the wife's lawyer should have conducted discovery and learned of the existence of the pension.
Ooh, I like that
He
argument.
also argued that Section 117 of the General Laws barred an attempt to reopen a judicial award after the expiration of 20 years. The wife countered that since the husband had allegedly concealed the existence of the pension and his alleged fraudulent action told the statute of limitations. The Supreme Court ruled that the wife had ample time after the final decree was entered in 92 to learn about the existence of the pension. The wife failed to provide any actual evidence that the husband concealed the pension by actual misrepresentation, and his silence or inaction on the issue did not constitute actual misrepresentation. In summary, the court ruled that the wife was not entitled to receive the said $80,000. If you'd like to discuss legal matters with me, please call my office for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer, the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
I think the wife should get another lawyer and sue the original lawyer.
Is that possible?
Oh, there is, and there's a statute of limitations on legal malpractice, which is 3 years. But
okay.
it is considered to be 3 years since the discovery of the actual error by the lawyer.
Yeah.
So
But if it was
may still have-
2017, it's already passed.
that may have passed as well.
Wow.
And she may have taken action. I don't know.
Wow.
But I don't
Like,
encourage
how
people.
can you not
Wait a
know?
minute. I'm on your show, and you're suggesting that people sue lawyers.
Only in
What
that
is
case.
going on here?
Yeah,
only
we're
in-
not saying you.
Not you, Bob.
Okay.
Unless you're one of the lawyers.
Not on that one. No.
Well, maybe they
But-
should hire you to go after the other lawyer.
But I know that, obviously, Cindy had a great explanation and kind of the process of, the tax sale and things like
Yes.
that. Did you want to
Yes,
add anything?
Thank you. I did. Cindy said that the city does not take your house at a tax sale, and that is true. But if a factor comes in, if I go to the tax auction and you owe $1,000 in sewer bills, and I purchase the tax lien on your house by paying the city the $1,000, you have a year in which to redeem the property by paying off the $1,000 plus the interest on it, or I have the right to go to Superior Court and file a petition to foreclose your right of redemption on the property,
Wow.
and therefore I will end up with the house for paying the $1,000 plus the fees to go to Superior Court. So there is a serious consequence. If your property is sold at a tax sale,
Yeah.
you have a year to redeem it, and if you don't, the
could
person who
lose it.
purchased it has the right to foreclose your right of redemption and could end up owning your property.
But Cindy's right. The city's not taking your
No,
property.
the city
Somebody
does
else
not
would
take
be.
the property.
Okay.
Right.
Alrighty. So I need Bob's opinion on this one.
Sports question?
No, it's not a sports question. It's a legal thing.
Oh.
And I know it might be criminal. So, but
Okay.
just what do you think? So the story came out last week. There was the woman that discovered the drone that was flying outside her bathroom. Did you hear this story?
No, I did not.
No.
You-
Okay.
This is going to make your skin crawl. by the
Oh,
way.
great.
Woman comes home from work at night.
Right.
She's going to go take a shower. And she's in her bathroom, and she can hear a buzzing noise outside. She thinks it's her pool. So she goes outside. It's not her pool. There's a drone flying or hovering outside her bathroom window.
Wonderful. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she yells or something or swats at it. Now, drones are controlled by a person.
Right.
The person flying it just tries to take off and flies it into a tree. All right? She grabs it,
Yeah.
runs to her swimming pool, submerges it.
Okay.
So now it and kills it basically.
Yeah.
Now also drones are all FAA licensed.
I didn't realize that.
Yes, there are numbers. It's like an airplane almost. There are numbers on it that it's assigned to you once you purchase a drone.
Okay.
So she calls the police. They look up the number. It's her neighbor from the behind her backyard, who's also a sex offender.
Oh.
Great.
So he was arrested.
Good.
There's a video voyeurism law
Yeah.
in Rhode Island. But
Yeah.
the question I have for you, though, Bob, she has now taken the drone and wrecked it, and with good reason. But has she destroyed the evidence in the process? Because they think he was recording her, and they don't know how long this was going on. This is the first time they caught her. So by doing so, would the defense attorney for the flyer there, would they use that as a defense? Well, since the drone's been compromised, it's been ruined. There's no evidence of any filming that has taken place. I can't be charged with this. He was just happened to be hovering in her backyard.
I think that the defense lawyers will bring up the fact that you may not have the actual video evidence of what he had done by virtue of the surveillance of her bathroom. But at the same time, I think that the evidence that he was flying a drone outside her bathroom window is pretty clear that he's doing something that is
But
potentially illegal.
But is it illegal?
To fly a drone outside one's bathroom window, I would think it's an invasion of privacy. I would think that, yes, it would probably be illegal.
But
and especially if he is a sex offender.
Yes.
Well,
That's
yes.
probably under that
Umbrella of things you
umbrella
can't do.
of things that you can't do. And then my question is, and I'm not familiar with drones whatsoever, so this is just me thinking of this. When a drone is filming, is it going to a computer?
Well, yes.
So they can confiscate
But is
his.
there a copy of it back at the computer? I don't know. But that was just my question.
they could
I don't want him to get off on a technicality like
Right.
this.
Yeah.
But I wonder if that'll be used.
I imagine it'll be used for part of the defense, but I'm not sure it's going to be successful.
All
But
right.
Could you go back and explain more about the drones? I didn't realize that they were registered with the.
Depending on the size.
All right.
Yeah, and they're FAA vehicles. And they have to know about each one. And so this one had a serial number on it.
Well, there
Where-
was
of
millions
how
of
he
drones
purchased-
in the country, so each
Yeah.
one has. Wow.
Is registered with the FAA. Yeah.
All right.
So that's how they tracked it right to him, and he admitted it. It's his. I mean, it's in the FAA database somewhere.
Yeah.
Wow.
That number, your name, your address.
Wow.
Now, if you're flying a regular commercial a plane, even a private plane,
Mm-hmm.
you have to have landing patterns and things like that. Does the FAA?
I don't think so. Not with drones. I think you just got to keep it under a certain. You can only fly from this point. 100 feet
Elevation?
off the ground of elevation. You can go up to 500 feet of elevation. After that, you're running into airplanes,
Okay.
and we can't have that. So keep it here where the airplanes are not flying. And if you're close to an airport, you
Right.
got your other
Yeah.
things going on there too. So, but yeah, that story happened last week down
Wow.
in Cranston.
Wow.
Whole new world.
Because they don't know, or they haven't been able to prove yet how long he was actually doing this
Now
before
here's
he got caught.
yeah. Now here's another question: was she aware that her neighbor was a sex offender? Because there's
Turns out no.
and
Until
that's
after he was arrested,
So-
because of the level of sex offender he was,
okay.
he didn't have to
Report
register
it or register.
and the neighbors didn't know. So she's a little freaked out now.
Right.
now that he's right there. Plus
Exactly.
he's at the ACI right now. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's. Ugh. Yeah.
All right. So
A little bit of
I just wanted to
Skin crawler.
get Bob's info on that one right there. Yesterday, it was a good day down at the Boys and Girls Club here in Woonsocket.
Yes.
What happened?
Well, they had a ribbon cutting
the ribbon cutting.
for the
The
grand
official
opening.
ribbon cutting.
And talk about the heavy hitters came to town. So Gary Ribello ran it. He's the head guy there at the Boys and Girls Club. Governor Dan McKee spoke. Lieutenant Governor Sabina Matos spoke. Secretary of State's name? Anyway, the Secretary of State was there.
Right.
He spoke. Jim Clark. Jim Clark is the president and CEO of Boys and Girls Clubs of America.
Wow.
Came to this event. I'm like, holy
Great.
cow.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. And,
That is wonderful.
And Price Right was there. They're donating food. Another organization with Price Right called Feed the Children were there to help give food to the kids. And it was just the big grand opening.
Now, you went down there a few months ago, didn't you, to see how they were making the
Yeah.
construction?
Yeah.
What's it like?
Oh, it's beautiful inside. They've changed all the inside and repainted it and repurposed everything. And there's different rooms for different age kids to do different things. So the teens are over here and the younger kids are over there, and they got all sorts of programs for the kids.
And they have
do.
counselors there who are working with the kids and
Well, I don't know if
They're
they're
not-
counselors,
well, no,
but there's
staff.
Yeah,
They're
staff
not-
to work with the kids.
They're not
yeah.
just saying, "Okay, kids, here's an empty
Oh
room.
no,
go
no,
off
you're
and-"
not on your own. no, none of
You're
that.
not unattended.
No, organized activities.
Yeah.
And they have
For
a
the
gym,
kids.
I imagine.
They had one there. I don't know if they've. I don't know if they needed it for some more workspace, but there's places to run around
And
on the
do
inside.
they still have a swimming pool there, or is that
No, there was real problems with the swimming pool there towards the end, so
right.
they just got rid of it.
Okay.
So there isn't one there. But that's what I thought about yesterday, because I grew up in Cumberland, and we had our Boys and Girls Club in Cumberland, where Dan McKee started, and they had a swimming pool. That's where I learned to swim.
Wow.
Yeah, yep. So I was always grateful to the Boys and Girls Club. That,
Wow, that's
they
great.
They couldn't teach me how to dive. Swimming was okay though. I didn't learn to dive till I was much older. Diving freaked me out.
You did good.
But the whole thing yesterday was great. A nice ceremony down there. Old Lisa Bodelli Hunt was there as well. She spoke to the kids. It was funny. They said, I think it was the lieutenant governor said, "Okay, kids, who wants to be when you grow up? Who wants to be the mayor of Woonsocket?" Half the kids' hands went up. All right, who wants to be the governor? Oh, more hands went up. I said, he's the boss of the state. Oh, I want to be the boss. So that was really cute. So
That's great.
they said the kids were great because they had to sit on the ground for like a half an hour, and they said, "Okay, kids, everybody inside, there's pizza. Yay!" They'll get up and run inside. I didn't get any pizza though. Oh well.
Were you down there for the ceremony?
I was down there for the ceremony because I wanted to see who was there, and it was a lot of people were down there. I had no idea the governor was going to be there, and the lieutenant governor, and the secretary of state. That was
So the
that
kids
was
get
powerful.
pizza, the big wigs get pizza, and you're
Yeah, I got
standing on
no-
the
I got-
sidewalk
I
with
got
no.
nothing.
With no
I got
pizza.
nothing.
No pizza for you.
Hoping it won't rain, and it spit
I
a
know,
little.
yeah.
They did have a tent
tent.
set up, so everything was okay there.
Do you think this has anything to do with Mrs. Blaze's recommendation about him, that he wasn't the one who got any pizza?
I don't know. I think good.
I'd start to worry about
Yeah,
that.
I would too.
Yeah.
Bob, time for a second message from your law office, please.
Thank you. Good morning. The second case I'd like to discuss with you this morning involves the refusal of one of the parties to a marriage to comply with the orders of the court. This case is entitled Ditano, and the case was decided also on last Wednesday. Whenever a divorce is in litigation, each of the parties involved has the right to seek from the opposing party an accounting of all the assets and liabilities of that party. This is initiated through one party filing upon the other a request for production. If the opposing party refuses to provide the information sought, the inquiring party can then seek an order from the court to compel the person to respond. In the Donato case, the defendant failed and refused to comply with an order of the court by filing conflicting disclosures. The family court judge appointed a commissioner to identify the party assets and determine which assets were the property of each party. The defendant failed to provide the commissioner with the requested information, and a further order was entered to compel the defendant to release that information. Litigation on this moved from the family court to the district court and the superior court. And after an 8-day trial, which is pretty extraordinary, on the divorce, the family court justice determined that the nature of the assets and the equitable distribution thereof, and then imposed a sanction of $50,000 upon the defendant. The defendant appealed the decision to the state Supreme Court. Among the issues addressed by the Supreme Court was that of the $50,000 penalty. The defendant claimed that the trial justice lacked the authority to impose the penalty because the trial justice had never determined that the defendant was in fact in contempt of court. The Supreme Court rejected the plea. It found that the rules of procedure for domestic relations provide what the court quoted as a smorgasbord of sanctions for situations in which the court is presented with a party's failure to comply with the discovery order, and that the trial justice reached a reasonable decision in the sanctions, and the defendant, for failing to comply with the discovery obligations, is required to pay the $50,000. The moral of the case: if one's involved in litigation, it is dangerous to willfully disregard the rules of procedure and orders of the court. If you'd like to discuss this or other legal matters with me, please call my office for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer: the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. And the Coffee and program will continue. Comments and questions can be called in at 766-1240.
Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal real special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogi with onions and dirty sour cream, or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported goods. We're open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 9 to 6, Wednesdays 9 to 5, and Saturdays 8 to 5. Follow us on Facebook to learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street in Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love. This Friday night at the Levitt Amp Woonsocket free concert at River Island Art Park, we open with Rhode Island singer-songwriter Josh Kerwin.
Yes, she was an American girl, raised on promises.
Then our headliners, the Rhode Island legend, 50 years in the making, Steve Smith and the Naked Truth.
Hang on, hold tight, we're gonna make our move tonight.
Live music, food trucks, on-site bar, kids' activities, and activities for everyone with the dynamic Jerry from Jerry's Bluffing Boutique. If you can't come this week, the concerts will be broadcast live over the air on ON, AM, and FM stereo radio and streamed live at WoonsocketRadio.com or watch in your home on your smart TV via the ON Worldwide channel on YouTube. Our broadcast is sponsored in part by Navigant Credit Union, Thunder Mist Health Center, Casey for Congress campaign, Woonsocket City Councilman John Ward, Rhode Island State Representative Robert Phillips, and Born O Uniforms.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
Alrighty, it is Coffee In here on ON, AM, and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Bob Lauder, and Emily Haining-Sheehan is with us as well. Okay, yes, the New York Yankees had a perfect game last night, Bob. Do you know what a perfect game is?
I have absolutely no idea, and you know that. You know that.
All right. Well,
what's
I thought you might have done a little research,
No,
but no.
I told you I had the little cards with the questions on them, but I don't have that one.
A perfect game is 27 men come to bat and 27 men get out. He's pitching against, and that's 9 innings, three to an inning.
Okay.
No one walks, no one gets a hit, no one's a hit by pitch. Those are the three, right?
Yes.
No one reaches base at all for any reason.
Wow.
They get up, out, get up, out, get up, out.
That's amazing.
It's incredibly difficult to do.
What was the final score? Obviously,
Well, it's
0 to
amazing.
something.
No, it was 11-0. Usually these games are like 2-0 or 1-0. Usually they're real battles, but they beat the Oakland A's 11-0 last night in this perfect
Are the
game.
Oakland A's a notoriously poor team, or is this
Not
just
notoriously,
a fluke?
but they're pretty bad this year.
Oh,
Yeah, and this guy wasn't doing so great, but he pitched great. Domingo Germán pitched great last night.
Yeah.
and it's only happened 24 times in league
in the
history.
history of Major League Baseball. So yeah.
Wow.
The last one was over 10 years ago, almost 10 years, like 2012. I thought I read that.
Yeah.
That's it's impressive to see,
That's amazing.
and it's
yeah.
And I was actually at McCoy Stadium when one was thrown down there, and it's something. It is absolutely amazing to watch. Bronson Arroyo pitched for the Boston Red Sox when he was down at Pawtucket, threw one at McCoy Stadium, and I was there for it. And you know, you don't think too much about it through the first couple of innings. It's around the fifth inning. You look down at, if you keep it score, hey, that's 15 up and 15 down. Wow, hey. Well, now you pay attention to it. But when it gets to the seventh inning, I mean, the place is just roaring.
Oh yeah, the
Just
excitement,
constant. The
anticipation.
excitement is unbelievable. We just want to get him back out there, get him throwing, because we want this to happen.
Were you there when they had the world's longest baseball game?
No, I was too young.
Okay.
then,
I didn't know what year that took place.
1981. So
Yeah, I was too young too.
so it was just, and it was funny because Major League Baseball was on strike that year when they resumed the game. So I didn't go. The first part of that game was in April, way too cold. And it was near Easter, so
Yeah.
you know, my dad didn't want to go then. And then when the next game came up, the conclusion, I mean, tickets were just they were impossible to get to go to that game. So no, I didn't go. But Major League Baseball was on strike, and so the Red Sox broadcast came down and did that game. So I watched it on TV.
Great.
So I was able to see that. All right, other things going on. You'll be happy to hear this, Bob. A California man is being sentenced to almost 7 years in prison for running a Ponzi scam that involved cow manure.
What?
What?
People probably thought, well, this can't be a scam. Who'd do a scam with this? Ray Brewer, according to officials, built investors of around $9 million, claiming he could turn cow manure into green energy. Actually sounds reasonable. But from 2014 to 2019, Brewer claimed that his business, CH4 Power, built machines on dairies in California and in Idaho to turn the biodegradable material into methane. He pleaded guilty to wire fraud, money laundering, and identity theft charges.
Wow.
That is just more bizarre than one can imagine.
It is
Okay.
bizarre.
Yeah.
Yep. Don't worry. I can do this. Don't you?
Just
hand me
give me the
$1,000,
money.
Give me the money, and things are going great. And I've doubled your investment, but if you give it back to me, I can make even more. Oh well, keep making me more money, and that's how Ponzi schemes work.
Yeah, have you ever seen the movie about Bernie Madoff?
Yes.
It's funny.
That
Yes.
is
Yes.
a very sad but frightening movie.
Today in history, by the way, speaking of Bernie, it was
Yes.
on this day in 2009. He was is he still alive?
I don't think so. I think
No.
he's passed
71 years old, was given 150 years in prison on this day in 2009. Cheers and applause came from the New York courtroom as the judge read the sentence.
away. Well, he had the largest
150. He ran it for years.
Ponzi scheme
yeah.
that was ever
Done.
Ever, yeah, in record.
discovered. Yes. Yeah.
I don't know how he kept it going for so long.
People believed him,
Yeah, that's the
and
thing.
there wasn't any oversight as to what
Well,
he was
none.
doing.
Yeah. All right. How many Barbies did you have growing up as a kid, Em?
It's weird because
Not a
I
Barbie
was
girl?
no, I did have Barbies, but then I was of the generation where Gem dolls
Oh yeah. That
came
was
out
the new thing.
and Cabbage Patch Kids.
All right.
So I had, an assortment
Of dolls.
of,
All right.
of different dolls, and then obviously, I
It's funny. Barbie still stands the test of time.
yeah, it does,
So-
and which I'm happy about. I think there still needs to be change because not every little girl looks like a Barbie.
All right. It's funny. Airbnb is giving guests the chance to stay in a real-life Malibu Barbie dream house. The company announced it will be giving away 2 one-night stays inside the dream house next month to celebrate the release of the new Barbie movie.
Yeah.
The California mansion is actually located in Malibu, right on the water, and is painted hot pink from floor to ceiling, inside and out. The massive home includes Barbie-inspired decor, an infinity pool with slide. What's an infinity pool?
So it's the one that actually it doesn't have an edge, so it actually cascades.
Slopes in?
It kind
Okay.
of the water just keeps on kind of coming, and
All
it
right.
looks like it's
Sounds nice.
yeah.
All right. There's a wraparound balcony. Now, if you want to get in on this, bookings open at 10 a.m. Pacific time. That would make it 1 in the afternoon here on July 17th for anyone hoping to get a slot to try to win these 2 one-night stays. You'll have to go online. I'm not sure. They don't give us the web address.
I'm
To
good.
try to win this. You all set there?
I'm good.
I would do it for one night. I know it's pink, but I'd get over it. Just use the pool. And to be on the beach in Malibu sounds nice.
No, I was more of a Star Wars. I
Yeah?
had the Star Wars figures.
Oh, you're the nerd, huh?
No, I was Princess Leia.
Of course you were, Em. Of course you were.
And I had the Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman figure. Actually,
But you have the costume,
Yes, I did.
headband, and everything.
Everything.
Magic rope,
Yep.
the rope of truth. Cool. And
Yep.
and the boots.
And the boots.
Wow, you went all out. That's great.
I went, and that's why my nickname to this day to like family, friends, and everything was Wonder Woman, because I would dress up in the and I mean this is going back in the early '80s. I would dress up in the costume, and I wouldn't actually respond to my name. I would only respond to if they called me Wonder Woman.
Were you a
So-
fan of the show?
Absolutely.
With Linda Carter? Okay. Did you watch Wonder Woman when it was on, Bob?
Not at all.
Not at all.
I've watched every single episode.
Really?
Although
Yes.
I will date
I
myself
did.
even worse, because when Em was saying that she grew up in there was Cabbage Patch Kids,
Yeah.
I represented as a lawyer a person who was injured in a Cabbage Patch
No
riot.
kidding. Did they ever get the Cabbage Patch doll?
The client
She got knocked down.
She got knocked down, thrown through a glass counter in
Oh!
the store.
Wow.
Because there were so many people,
Yes.
People,
jamming into the store
the
to get the
demand.
Cabbage Patch.
What was the
Kids.
store?
I
Do you remember?
don't recall the name of it. It's one of those large.
I remember like a Zayres and
Yeah, it was
Ames,
a
and it
large
had
box store
Oh,
like
probably
that. I
Toys
don't
R
know
Us,
exactly which one it
even.
was.
Wow. How much money did she win her?
Oh, we got money
suit?
for her, yeah.
Oh, well, good. She
wow.
okay? She wasn't permanently hurt.
Oh
was
no, she wasn't permanently hurt,
Okay.
but she had cuts and bruises.
bet.
Oh, I bet.
Wow.
The trauma of being thrown through the glass
Crazy.
By other
by
consumers?
the people crashing into
Oh,
the store.
wow.
There were like
Wow.
hundreds of them at the time.
Now, do you go after the store? Or did you go after the other people?
The store. We had no idea who the people were who
Right,
pushed her into through
Yeah.
the counter.
Wow.
Wow.
Bob's a good lawyer. See?
Yeah, but you guys are playing with the couch, and I'm okay. This is
You're
kind
playing
of
with
old.
rocks.
I could go for the money now, Bob. All right, we got to run. The show's come to an end. Thanks to Cindy Johnston, Finance Director for the City of Woonsocket, who joined us earlier on. Em, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me. I hope everyone has a happy and safe 4th of July, and I'll be back here next week, same time, same place.
Very good, Bob Lauder. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for inviting. Hope to see you again next week.
Very good. This is Joe Callahan. Have yourself a great day today. And stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do you remembers at 9:30 on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. Police in Providence are investigating an incident that caused about 100 moviegoers to flee the Avon Cinema in Providence on Monday night. We told you about this yesterday. Authorities say up to 10 people entered the theater, made claims about guns and a bomb. NBC 10 TV News is reporting that Avon's owner just called it a prank and said nobody was hurt. A number of weeks that people in Massachusetts can collect unemployment benefits is dropping from 30 to 26. The reduction begins next month due to the state's low jobless rate. Massachusetts state law requires a reduction in the number of benefit weeks available when the 12-month average unemployment rate is below 5.1%.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. Thousands of passengers are trying to get somewhere ahead of the holiday weekend, but having a tough go at it with flights delayed or canceled today. In Miami, Natalie Rodriguez.
Airlines like United reporting bad weather and staffing shortages as issues.